What's up, everybody? And I'm very glad to say that football is officially back. And with preseason football, absolutely comes preseason trade / free agent rumors. And it's absolutely exciting. And so as the chachiest Green Bay fan of all time, I want to talk about Khalil Mack to Green Bay and why it makes sense for both sides. So first off, to start with it, from the Green Bay perspective, you're gaining the 2016 Defensive Player of the Year. The man is an absolute monster. We just lost Jake Ryan. Blake Martinez is an alright linebacker. He's a good linebacker, good for run stopping, not really that great in coverage. Alright at putting pressure on the quarterback. I mean, and then there's Clay Matthews, he's lost a step since his original payday. So we have a lack of depth at the linebacker position. And so Khalil Mack would absolutely bring together kind of like what Charles Woodson did when we brought him in and helped Green Bay win that Super Bowl 45. A very veteran defensive player who's an absolute stud. And so I guess salary cap-wise, people were like, oh, well, how's that going to work with Aaron Rodgers also wanting his big contract? There's going to be money for Aaron. Back when Clay Matthews, that I referenced earlier, got his big contract, he was the third highest defensive player in the league. They also made Aaron Rodgers the highest paid quarterback in that league. I think it was like a week later. Also, Aaron has this year, a year after, and then we could franchise tag him for another year. So that's 3 years of having A-Rod in his prime, basically. So I'm not worried about Khalil Mack getting paid right now. Also, we're about to lose Nick Perry. Nick Perry's contract was abysmal. Clay Matthews is about to end his big deal, and he's not going to get another big deal like he did before. And so salary cap, I'm not worried at all. All right, and so for the Raiders, it's interesting. They have a new head coach, John Gruden, who's very much of an intense guy. He wants everyone to buy in. And so you can make the argument that he wants to kind of set the tone for the rest of the league, or rest of the team, and say, if you're not buying in, you're out. The whole no one player is bigger than the team, I can see that happening here. Also, in regards to Khalil Mack wanting to be the highest paid player, salary cap-wise, they could possibly make it work, but more importantly, the signing bonus, which is not included in the salary cap, is going to be an issue, because that's going to be paid straight from the owner, and the owner, Al Davis, is kind of cash poor at the moment. Now, granted, he's million/billionaire, absolutely, but he doesn't want to pour all of his money into the Oakland Raiders, and we can see that because as of right now, even with the confirmed $1 million that Roger Goodell and the NFL are giving to the Raiders are still overwhelmingly short when it comes to paying for their new stadium in Las Vegas. I mean, that's even with the city saying, hey, we'll help pay for it as well. It just kind of shows you that, granted, we don't have their actual books because I don't think they're going to release their actual books. Raiders aren't the most financially stable team at the moment. And so they don't want to give Khalil Mack this huge signing bonus and possibly put them in a terrible spot earlier when they want to even sign more players and give out bigger signing bonuses so that way they don't take a bigger hit in the salary cap to afford more players. Secondly, with Al Davis moving to Vegas, he wants more younger eyes on his team. And what attracts young people? More young people. And so in this situation, Green Bay would be trading their first round draft picks that I guess they have naturally, and then the one they picked up from the New Orleans Saints to the Raiders in exchange for Khalil Mack. I heard someone say earlier that why would Green Bay give up 2 potential draft picks? Because it's 2 draft picks that we don't know how they're going to work out. But with the uncertainty comes bigger hype and bigger, I guess, eyes on the field. I mean, look what happened with Johnny Manziel, Tim Tebow. I mean, they weren't the greatest college quarterbacks. We all knew that going in, but they created hype because they were young and exciting. That's what I think the 2 first-round draft picks could do for Oakland. So it would make sense, at least money cash-wise, to bring in 2 young prospects to Vegas. It's going to be really exciting if they do so. Thirdly, the Oakland Raiders might just want to unload. They're not going to do well this year. I mean, the Chargers already predicted to do so well. I mean, Chiefs already predicted to do so well. Denver's kind of in a tough spot. But I mean, in a weaker AFC, they don't really have anything. I mean, yes, Derek Carr did really well 2 years ago, but he kind of slacked off last year. Amari Cooper did really well his first year, didn't do so well as last year. They picked up Jordy Nelson, yes, but he was only a really good wide receiver because Aaron Rodgers and him were on the same wavelength. which is always good to see. But I'm not sure if him and Derek Carr can put together that same kind of strategy. And then they lost Michael Crabtree. They don't have a really good running back as of right now. Marshawn's Marshawn. He's going to do his preseason run. Yes, he did really well. It looked good, but it's also he played 2 drives in a preseason game. We don't know how well what his longevity is going to be going forward. Fourthly, the GM of the Oakland Raiders right now has a really strong relationship with the Green Bay, being from Green Bay. And as we've known from even like the Belichick dealing Jimmy G, you can see how guys who know each other, they're more willing to do with people so they don't get basically Danny aged. And no one wants to be the guy who absolutely got to blither in and trade. And if you know the team that you're trading to and have a good relationship with them, they know that, hey, they're at least not going to come after me or at least try to make me look bad. Because, they're going to ruin the relationship in the future. And so, kind of capping it off, bringing it back to Green Bay. If our GM, this fresh GM, bringing in Jimmy Graham, the D tackle out of the Jets, bringing back Tramon Williams from the, Cardinals, it's going to be a great look for him if he can also bring in a defensive superstar to kind of wrap up Aaron Rodgers' last couple of years in Green Bay. He's only going to be, granted, everyone can be like, oh, look at Tom Brady, he's great even at 40. Not every quarterback's going to be like that. Aaron Rodgers is in prime right now, and I don't want to waste his prime because we don't want to take shots at good defensive players. That's how Brett Favre got a Super Bowl. We brought in Reggie White. And Reggie White, we paid him really well, made him one of the highest paid defensive players, if not the highest paid defensive player at the time. When you do that with Khalil Mack, solidify the defense, help out that young secondary with some pressure up front. And I think this Green Bay team could be Super Bowl contenders. All right, thanks, y'all. If you like this video, drop a like, drop a sub. If you don't want to, it doesn't really matter to me. I have a day job for a reason, right? All right, see y'all later. I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.